Alright, this is going to be part 5 for making the WordPress site that we're doing here. And in this part, we're going to take a look at doing the e-commerce section, which will be essentially building out the elements here for a store product page, as well for the store page. So what we'll do is we'll possibly create a few different products in here, and we'll customize how the store looks. And then after that, we'll have a look at doing the individual products in here and customizing the layout for that as well. Let's see if we can post this up here onto Twitter, just so that people realize that we're doing a live stream. Stream today. There we go. That looks good. Hopefully that works. Not too sure if that link actually does work or not, but let's give it a quick test. And it does. So I'm just going to paste that in, and hopefully we can go live with that. So that's great. What else do we need to do here? I think there's a dashboard here that I might be able to use to manage this stream. Let's have a look. YouTube stream dashboard. I think that's one that I might already be in, but I'm just making sure that everything's working properly. Oh, okay. You on which page? What's that? Go to live control room. So I think that's the one we're in now. And if I just select this, great. Okay, no worries. I think that's up and running now. So I guess we'll just jump straight into it. Let's have a look here in our design, and what we'll be doing is making sure this page is up and running. So let's just go to Fred at localhost and let's load up. We'll go to the menu, and we don't actually have a store page yet. So we might have to also create that. I think it pre-defaults a few pages for us. Let's jump in here and have a look at the pages we have. Yep, so WooCommerce has pre-defaulted a few pages here for us. What we'll do is we'll jump into the shop page, and yeah, there's not too much there right now. This is essentially what we want it to be, so we're gonna have to customize it a little bit. From what I can see, yeah, that's a pretty standard setup. Now, let me have a look what we need to do to customize that. We might have to create a new WooCommerce store page. And I think I've got a previous one I used in my example, so I might pull that up across and give it a test. Let's have a look here. This is a page I created a while back for WooCommerce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file here called WooCommerce in our theme. And I'm going to paste this file in. This is a pretty standard file, and what we're going to do is we're going to have this item in here, which will be our header, and we'll reuse a similar header to what we had for our previous pages. So in here, I'll remove all of this content, and I'll just paste in this section here. That should get us up and running for this aspect. Let's remove that. We won't need this anymore. The next part is obviously how the layout is. So for the layout, we're going to have to make sure that it's working properly. I might reuse this main class here because it's mostly the same. So let's paste that in, And in here, instead of doing a loop, we'll paste in the WooCommerce content. Let's refresh that and remove all of this stuff. That should be more or less correct. So here's our wrapper. Our wrapper ends just about there. So let's remove the rest, save that and refresh. Now we can see that we already have some of that base styling there. We have a little bit of padding happening here at the top. It's way too much, but we can sort that out a little bit later. Now, what I might also do is I might grab some of the content here from one of our pages. Where is that? Here it is. And this might be a better use case for that example. So if we take a look at our design, this is what the store page looks like. And yeah, the closest page we have to that is, I suppose, yeah, the post page here. So in this case, we might have to override some of the styling we're doing here on our main site main single. So let's see where our CSS is for that. It's just over here. And this is replacing some of the styling that I don't think is being set anywhere in general. We do have this section in here. So what I might do is I might copy out this section and call this site main WooCommerce. And for this section, I'm just going to give it a padding off top, and that'll be more or less the same. We'll copy over this class and we'll paste it in here for our WooCommerce, refresh. And yeah, that's looking a little bit better now. So now what we need for our store is this main big lot of text, some subtext, and then we'll have our products in underneath that. So to do that, we could have a look at what the current content is for our store page and see if we can customize it. Our store page is here under pages and here under shop. Let's just put in some placeholder text. Let's save that and just see if it's coming in across. So it is, it's just underneath the title there. So the first thing we might need to do is get rid of this title so that it's not appearing. Let's see what I've done in a previous example to get rid of that. I'm going to open up one of my older function files, and this should have some code in here. So here's the code for it. We're going to add a new filter, which is essentially just going to make the page title set to false. That's pretty simple. So what we'll do is we'll jump here into our functions file. We'll scroll down and we'll just paste it here below. Let's save that and refresh, and that title should just disappear. So that's looking way better. Is this your first live? Second live stream. Hey there, London. How you going? Now let's see. We need to add in some of this content here that we have for the store page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to go to the section here for that page and I'm going to edit it once more. And here I'll paste this in. And I'll also paste in the content here below. This will be a nice big H2 tag, and the rest can be pretty generic content. We'll have to break the line here after adventures, so let's do that as well. Beautiful. Alright, so that's working now. From what I can see though, this page is actually called photo journals actually. So this is more like a category page. We can clean that up a little bit better, but for the time being, as long as our store page is sort of implementing the styling that we need, that's the most important thing. Now we can see here that it's got a little bit of a margin from the left, but that's essentially what our design has, so we'll keep that the same. Next, we'll have to update these here. Right now, this styling doesn't really work because it's missing essentially all its styling. And if we take a look, we're going to have to customize this in a few ways. We're going to have to make sure we've got the image, the title, a little description, the price, and order button. And we've got this sort of a grid layout here with a couple of columns and rows. Hi there, Galaxy. That's nice. You're from Pakistan, are you? I'm from Australia. So, how you going? All right, so here we are. let's take a look at how we're going to start customizing this. I'm going to close this down and I'm going to have a look in here. Our WooCommerce will go through a loop which will apply the product styles. And right now, I don't think there's even a price on this item. So what we might do is create a few test items with a few prices, and we'll use that as our content. This one here, it says it's $39, so I'm just going to put that in here. Next up, we've got this section in here with an image, so that's all fine. Let's save that, and that'll do our first product. Let's add another product in here. And what we'll do is we'll just copy over this one here, which is called bucket list. And I think there's an image here for this, so I'm just going to export this from Adobe XD. And we'll save this as a JPG straight into our image folder. And then what we'll do is we'll paste it in here. Let me just find that image folder. Here it is. And I think the image was like a bucket list image. Let's have a look. Not sure where it's going. I can't see it. Hey Galaxy, let's see what you said. In London. Good, thanks. Thanks for your content. It's great content, and I'd like to tackle them soon over the course. Yeah, no, it's should be good, London. Galaxy says, I'm doing good. I found your channel while I was looking for XD and WordPress a few days ago. Yeah, no, I'm doing a lot of content around that because that's essentially what I do every single day as part of my day job. So I just thought it'd be good to show other people how I go about it. Hopefully that will help them as well. All right, so now where is that bucket list image? So it's this gigantic image here. And if we click to export that, and we want this as a JPG for the web, and it goes into Fred Snow Images, export that. And here it is. Okay, great. And that seems like it's an okay size. It's only 100 kilobytes. And what we'll do is we'll paste this in here. So let's just drag and drop it. Put that in. That's great. And we'll do that as $39 as well. We'll put it in photo journals, and we also need to give it a description. So in this case, I'm just going to copy this over and paste it here into the short description. Let's save that. That's our second item. Now we'll do one more item there just so that we have a 3-column design, maybe a 4th item even, but let's keep it simple for the time being. We'll jump in here, we'll add this one, we'll put in the description as well. We'll grab the price, which I think it's also $39. Let's double check. Yep. $99, and let's put in the product image over here. And we'll have to export this image too. So let's do that. File, export, selected, JPG to that folder, which is in here. And we'll just drag it in. What did that look like? So it's a little book with the thing there. That's this one here. Okay, so that's in there. We'll put this also in photo journals, and let's do a 4th product. We'll do this one over here, Life's a Trip Road. Let's create that in here, put in the description, put this in as $39.90. Galaxy, my goal is to do freelance web development as a side hustle. It would be great if I could get some tips on freelancing as well. I've been applying to Upwork for jobs, but no success. All right, in terms of goals for doing that, it's actually good just to talk to people you know, people in industries you're interested in, and just essentially let them know that you like developing stuff. I find that's the best way, because usually they'll end up bringing up the ideas that they want developed to you rather than you asking them if there's some work that they have. It's just being more vocal, saying that you do that sort of development. And I think that, you know, if you keep doing that and you keep practicing, the work will eventually come. Personally, I don't really use websites like Upwork, but in Australia, there's quite a few people here that just share around projects, so they usually don't jump on those. But it depends in which area you are. So in other areas, I'm sure that Upwork probably works very well, but I think you probably need to build up a small portfolio of work before you get started on there. Anyway, let's take a look at the image here for the Life's a Road Trip. We'll pull this one out, and what we'll do is we'll export this again as a JPG into our folder. And over here, we'll grab it in, and we'll just grab the low res version and just simply drag it into WordPress. There we go. Let's save that. Put the category in there, save that, and I think we already have the short description. Great. So now we have a few products. What I might do is I might jump into our menu over here, and I'll add the shop page in because I don't think we actually have this page set anyway yet. So I'm going to put this straight into our main navigation, and I'll just drag it in here somewhere. Great. All right, so let's save that. And what we'll do now is we'll jump back here into our site, and we'll be able to hit our menu here and go straight to the shop page. Now we've got a few items in here, and while the styling isn't correct yet, we can start looking at customizing this. I've done a few others before. You might take a look at how I've done those and use them as an example of what we can do for this page. So here I have a shop page, and this is for wines that I've done in the past. And this is using a custom loop here that I've done, but it's mainly using the WooCommerce loop. This one here, I think, also does the same thing. Let's see how I've designed this one. So this one here also uses that WooCommerce loop, but in both these cases, we're using a 4-column design. And for Fred Snow, we only want 3 columns. So we're going to have to customize the WooCommerce settings here. We'll jump into customize, and I think it's somewhere here. All right, products per row and rows per page. So let's save that to 3, save and publish that, and that way our content looks a little bit better. So that's great. And now what we can do is have a look at adding some of the custom layout in here that we have. So we need to add in this description. And we also need to customize a little box around here. So I'm just going to pull up again one of my older coded versions for that, so we can see how we can do that. Let's see, maybe the Olivia Grove version that I showed you earlier. Content single product, I think that was it. So this is normally what it does. Do action, WooCommerce before single product. So this isn't exactly the script we want in this case. What we'll need is we'll need a script here about the loop that's happening with the content. Galaxy says, I'm thankful to you though. I did not know that WordPress themes could be developed by using Bootstrap and CSS. I have knowledge of these and now I can get started on building them too. Yeah, now Bootstrap's great. It's it essentially fits into any solution, whether you're on React or WordPress, and really it's my go-to if the theme's easy to use, and it just saves you time really. So even if you're not using all of it, you can use some bare bone essentials just to make sure that the website's easier and faster to develop. Hey there, how you going? Shaz Sarah, can't say that. Ali, how you going there? Let's have a look here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a custom loop in here for this product so that we can add some content in there. I can't remember exactly how to do that. What I might do is I might jump in here and go WooCommerce custom product loop and add content. Let's have a look which function essentially adds some content into the WooCommerce loop. So this is the WooCommerce loop there. Essentially, it's doing a few things here. Do action, grab product. Can't remember which one it is. Let me see if I've got some other code I can use as an example for this, because I've always built lots of little websites, and usually I can reuse some of those code in different places. Looking around right now. What's another one? So I've got church view, so I might use the church view example in this case. And we want to grab a loop. So the single content product, maybe this is it. We've got the summary in here. All right, I think this might be it. Let me double check on Google. So this is called the content single product. Let me see what that does. So we'll paste it in here and we'll test it out to see if that's the right one, because I can't really remember. Content. Actually, what we could do is we could just browse into the directory there for WooCommerce, and we could probably copy over some of the loops that are happening. So to do that, we'll just jump into the the plugins folder, this section here for WooCommerce. What's that purple thumbnail that says 20,000 lines of icons that every time you hit a new tab, it's purple thumbnails? Oh yes, that's just a plugin here called Mozilla. And it's just something that I use for inspiration. It's a little cool site that essentially pops up with a feed of all your favorites. It's just Dribble, Product Hunt, TechCrunch, Designer, News, etc. And you can go through there and click for inspiration and ideas and to see what's happening. So here's just the top article of the day, and this one's for heaps and heaps of icons which you can pull in. Yeah, I didn't even know that existed until you pointed it out. Oh yeah, no, the swiper one's something that I always use, so happy that helped there. All right, so going back here, let's have a look at the product loop here. I think this is it, the product loop. As per, this is developer docs, yeah. So this is a loop that's happening when you're doing sample product loop. But we're jumping here into the WooCommerce folder. And this is the WooCommerce template file, which is a little bit different than I remember it, but that's okay. Then we want to go to templates. And here we should have all the different things that are happening. So here's the loop. And in here we do have a price. So what we might do is we'll jump into our own WooCommerce folder here in the loop, and we'll paste this price in. Then we'll edit it. Maybe we'll just add some extra text and make sure that's applying. Yep, so that's the text in there. In this case, we don't want this text per se. We'll want to add something custom in. We might add it just underneath the cart button. Where is it? So we've got the order now button, and we've got an add to cart button in this case. I'm just thinking how we can design this to work a little bit better. What other loops do we have here? We've got the add to cart loop. I've got the loop start and the loop end. We've got the price section, which we're just looking at. Do we have a title here? Let's have a look. So this here is the WooCommerce loop product title section. And what we could do is we could jump here into this loops directory and just have a look at where the code for that is. I'm just going to do a quick search. Might not be in there. Let's have a look quickly on Google where that is. And that looks like it's here. So it's a custom function that's called. So I might have to go up a directory to see where that is. We'll jump up here and open this up in VS Code and have a quick look. All right, so it's not in there. It must be part of WooCommerce base, but that's okay. So what we'll do is maybe we'll have a look where else in the loop we can place this. So here's the loop start, and let's have a look at how this file looks like. So it's a UL. All right, so this is the very start of the loop before the loop even happens. And the next part is loop end. And then we've got one here for no products found. We've got one here for price, which we looked at. It's not exactly what I was looking for. What about archive product? We've got, oh, this is the whole page for the archive product, so that might not be it either. I can't remember exactly where that one is. Let's pull this in and see what else we have on this section. All right, so here we've got how to make a custom one. I just want to see where I can replace some of its initial functions. Here's another custom one. This is another custom one. No, that's not the one. Customize. All right, let's see what we need to do to customize the WooCommerce loop. So my quest to create a better one, blah, blah, blah. Yep, well, post to action, WooCommerce custom, WooCommerce product loop. So here's a good one, I like that. But that's not really what I'm after, WC get products. Anyway, let's see what else. So here we've got a custom product loop. What else do we have here? This isn't it either. All right, is this the one? WooCommerce loop dash custom. Nope. Can't remember which function this is. This is a difficult one for me here. Let's see if I've got any other examples I can use. So if we jump into projects, we go to Olivia Grove, and let's go into the WooCommerce section. We've got the contact, the product, single product here, loop is in here. Did I update the cart? No, this is just basic stuff, so that's not either. We did have this section here for the price, and when we did update it, then it did reflect on our store. But it's, let's have a look here. Got this section here, which is in an A tag. This here is the price. All right, so we might just use this in this case. This seems like a simpler way to get this up and running. So in here, I'll want a small product description. So let's see if we can just echo something out. Let's do echo, and I think we had a custom function which we were using before for that. Where was that? I think it was in Ink, and then here in Moshi. It was called the post summary. In this case, we don't want the post summary per se, we want the product summary. So let's edit that and double check what the name is for that. It's called the product short description. Product short description, commerce function. And let's have a look what that is. Might be just this one. All right, let's give it a test. So let's put that in there and save and see what happens. All right, so we've got the description in there. So that seems to be working, but from what I can see, we're getting some of the tags like the H2 tag coming in as well. We don't particularly want that. Maybe we can use the post summary. So let's try that and refresh. So in this case, we can't because that's a different section. It's definitely the excerpt we have to use. But I do want to remove some of the custom styling that's happening here for that. Now, if we take a look, here's one way to do it. Just a sec, I need to sneeze. All right, we're back. So let's take a quick look here. This is one way to do it, but I'm sure there are others. Let's see if there's a custom way we can pull out the short description. Let's put that into Google and see if we can grab it out. All right, apparently this is one way to do it. Let's see if we can pull some of these classes in. So in this case, this is how they're doing that. If there's a price, show the price. So we've got the product variable there. The other way we might be able to do it is just by cutting out the actual content, just doing that. So what I might do is here, string, we might replace the string with the content that we're getting from the excerpt. So can we do get excerpt and echo that out? Let's quickly test that, make sure it's working. No, that's not a function apparently. Maybe it's get the excerpt. Yep, so that is a command. So now all we have to do is use this function here that I've created and wrap that across in here and save that and give it one more test. And we'll also have to provide a length, so maybe 128 there. Let's save that and refresh. Okay, that's looking a little bit better, but something odd's happening here because this is wrapped inside a H2 tag. That shouldn't be happening. Why is that doing that? Is there a H2 tag in here? Nope. So it's still grabbing some sort of a tag there. Let's edit this and have a look. There is a H2 tag here. Let's see if I can get a WooCommerce function, remove all tags. And this is the function just over here. So maybe we'll wrap this in here like that. Save that and refresh. Yep, so that's removed it. So now we've got our short description in there. We'll also have to update the title here. So this title is 24 pixels. This description is 18 pixels. Docify. What's that one? Don't think I've heard of them before. Documentation. Get started. All right, no, it's I assume this is something here for doing layouts in custom JavaScript, maybe a site builder. Let's have a quick look at the About Us. Documentation site generator. Fair enough. Yeah, I probably have to do more documentation. I don't really do much per se, but yeah, usually people don't want to pay money for documentation. They just want the product, and any spare time you have, they want features. All right. So let's close all these down now. Close this, let's close all these down. And now we can get started designing this section here. So here, what we have is a H2 tag. This H2 tag has some custom styling already, but we want to override this styling. So what we'll do is we'll close everything down in here. We'll scroll down here to the very bottom. We'll do .WooCommerce, and in here, actually we'll paste this right in here. And here we'll apply some custom styling, and for that we want a font size of 24 pixels. What's the font family here? Just the default font family, so nothing special here. But it does have a slight weight to it here, so we'll do a font weight of 500. Let's refresh that. And we also need the black color there, so I'm just going to put in base. It uses Markdown for documentation. Yeah, I still need to learn Markdown, believe it or not. So yeah, it might be a good idea for me to do that eventually. What's next? Text, transform, uppercase. I've spent most of my time learning CSS, so that takes a lot of effort. And then we've got our little description in here. And our description, right over here, probably needs a little p tag. Where's the little loop that we created for that before? I think that was in WooCommerce, in the pricing section. Put a p tag in here and paste that in. And that way, when we design our loop here, which is essentially this here. So let's clean this up a little bit. UL, and this UL is actually for products. So ul.products, and in here li.product. And then in here, we have a number of little things. In this case, this one here was called the title, your products. And this one was also called this as well. And finally, it was also called H3 as well. So just pass that in and apply it in here. So that way it makes a little bit more sense, hierarchically speaking. Yep, so that styling is applying, but now it's easier for us to add additional styling. In this case, we just want to add a p tag in here, which will be really easy. We have a font size of 18 pixels. And a color of base as well, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think this is slightly lighter. No, it's just a font weight of 200, which is lighter, but the color is still black. We'll refresh that and take a look, and there it is. The line height's a little bit large. In this case, it's just looks like it's 1, so I'll update that for line height, sorry. Line height 1.15. If we refresh that, that's a little bit better. So we're slowly getting there. And now the difficult part, this body section has a bit of a white box around it. And if we're going to do this, we're going to have to build a nice big white box around the whole LI section. So let's pull this in and do that. So this is this one here. So we'll do background white, apply that. Let's refresh. Now it's got a white background, and we just need to add some padding to it now. So what I might do is for the p tag, I'll do padding left 15 pixels and padding right 15 pixels, and I'll apply the same sort of padding to the h3 tag as well. Let's refresh that. It's looking a little bit better, but we need a little bit more padding, so I'll push that up to 30 pixels. Alright, so that's nice and centered. That's looking a little bit better. And if we take a look here, we can see that we still need to do the button, but everything else is almost fine now. Now we're just going to have to customize this order button, where here it says add to cart. Yeah, we'll want to change that. So let's have a look where we have add to cart as a loop. I think this is the button over here. And in this case, we don't want it to add to cart. We want it to go straight to the product page. Let's see how we can do that. So in this case, we were applying a filter, and this is for the WooCommerce loop add to cart. We're creating a div here to add it to the cart. We're putting in the quantity as well. So let's just hit this to see what happens when we do press it. All right. So it's sort of working like that. And what I'm going to do is, I might remove the pricing that we are having here as a loop. And we'll do this just by maybe commenting it out for the time being. There we go. Let's save that and refresh. So the price should disappear now. And instead of this price, which we're pulling in as an if script, we're going to copy that over. And we're going to put it here into the add to cart section. Now let's see how we can do this. So add to cart. I'm thinking that we've got this bit of code right here that's working. It's pulling in the variable s, which is being applied. I might Google this one real quick. Alright, so we want to add some text to the add to cart button. So I'm just going to Google that and see what other people are doing. So here, this is what people are doing for adding custom text for a single product, and what they're doing for adding text to a archive. Alright, I guess that's easy enough. We could try that. Add before the cart button, add after the cart button. There's more here. There's two more hooks we can use here. Select options. This is WooCommerce add to cart link. This is the code that we get here. Before, after, and add to cart. Pretty standard stuff, but that's not exactly what I'm trying to do. This bit here that I want to change. Add to cart button, echo WooCommerce add to cart button. No, that's not it. There we go. That's what I want to do. So we've got two different bits of code for this. Let's jump into our functions folder. This is the first bit of code, and this is the second example of a bit of code. Let's see if they're saying the same thing. So it is calling that WooCommerce single add to cart button. That function is followed up by this WooCommerce add custom single. So this is the function itself in the case. And here's the bit of code that we're applying. So if we want to type in test in here and apply that, let's see if that applies in our section here. So it's not in this section, but it's applying in our page. So no, that's not the code that we're looking for. Let's go WooCommerce, add to loop, product loop, add to cart, customize text. All right, so it might be in here. WooCommerce add to cart, customize text. All right, well, there's a plugin for it, but I don't particularly want a plugin for it. I want to be able to customize it myself. Here it is. Maybe that's the one that I'm looking for. Remove add to cart button and replace it with something different. So let's paste that in and give it a shot. And in this case, it should say view cart. And there's an error on our code on line 60 because I'm not closing off the function. Great, so now we do have a view product button, which is essentially what we want. We take a look at our design here. We want it to say order now, and when you select the button, it'll take you to the page. So let's copy over this text for order now, and we'll paste it in here. Great. And we also want to put the price in there, and the price has to go on the left side. So previously we had some code here for the price. I'm going to jump in here, and here we're getting our product. We'll also get our price here. So this is our code here for the price. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go price.html is here. And this will go straight into this section here. Oops, where'd that disappear to? Yeah. So we'll paste that right in here. Let's do a dot dot. And we'll put it in here. That looks good. Let's refresh and see if that applies. I've got an error there on line 59. That's because I've got this semicolon. But that looks like it's up and running. We've got our price in there. So that's awesome. Now, if there is a price, we're going to change the price to equal the price dash that. Let's save that and refresh one more time. Great. So let's double check what happens if we don't have a price for a product. I'm going to remove the price for this one just for some error testing. Let's jump back here to our product. There's no price in here. Let's go to our shop page. And yeah, so that's saying order now, but this one doesn't have a price, whereas this one does. Now we just customize this button. And to be honest, that's going to be really easy because I've already got a button class for that. It's called button-primary. Let's refresh that and see if that applies. Yep, that's looking good. Now we just customize this button a little bit in our CSS here. And what we'll do is a display of block, text align of center. Well, actually, left, I think it is. Refresh that. That's looking better. We'll do a margin left 30 pixels. Margin. Actually, let's do a margin of 30 altogether. Refresh that once more. Great. And let's take a look at our design. That's our design there. That's our example. The only other thing we need to customize is the height of these items. If you take a look, you can see that each item has a slightly different height. And that's because it's essentially a little bit closer together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch out the height a little bit by adding a custom height. And I'll do this in the LI item. So what I'll do is here in LI, I'll do a min height. And the min height here can be maybe something like 500 pixels. Maybe that might be too much, but let's have a look at what it is right now. Right now it's 558. So I'm going to increase this to 600 pixels. Let's refresh that. And that's looking much better now. The only other part to this is that this button here isn't appearing at the very bottom, and we'll want it to appear at the bottom. So we might have to change it into a flex, so we might have to play around with the design a little bit, but let's see what we have right now. But this whole section here isn't a... Alright, for this section, we're gonna change it into a display of block, sorry, flex. Flex direction of column. Great. The rest of the sections can stay more or less the same, but this button here can be align self to flex end, and I think that should do it. Let's see. No, I did that wrong. It's justify self, so justify self to flex end. Let's save and refresh that. Okay, might not have done that properly. Let's have a look here. Align self, flex end. Nope, so it's not that. It's not this. I can't remember which code it is that self, align self, justify self, place self. Maybe it's place self, flex end. Nope, that's definitely not it. It's something. I'm not sure. The other way we can do this is simply by applying it inside of the section here. So we'll do align items. Sorry, justify items. And we'll do, I think, space around. Let's try that. Let's see what we've got here on our comments. So really appreciate your effort. Thanks for that. I hope and pray you'll get thousands of subscribers and viewers soon. Not too worried. For me, it's more about just providing some good content. And if I get subscribers or not, it doesn't really matter. It'd be nice, but yeah, I think as long as I do a good job, that's all that matters, really. All right, so now we've applied that. Let's refresh and see what happens. So great, we've got some better layouts happening here, but we've got a little bit of a gap there happening at the top. So let's do space between this time. Can't remember which one is the right one, but I think that might be it. Great, so that's the one we wanted. And what that does is it pushes our elements to both sides there. We just need to make sure that these items are responsive. So if we go down a different viewport, we can see they are responding, but they look terrible, but that's okay. We can fix up some of the column designs on that a little bit better. Let's see, WooCommerce responsive design change. WooCommerce product list responsive design CSS. Let's see what we can do to change that so that the responsive design starts happening a little bit sooner. So it looks like I actually have to override the CSS for that manually myself, which sucks because I would have loved if I could just do it without doing that, but that's what it is sometimes like. So what we'll do is we'll override some of this CSS that's currently happening and put in our own. So right now, if we resize down to say 500 pixels and we take a look at our list items here, we can see that they're responding here in our WooCommerce styling. They have a width of 48% and it's floating on the left. So they're using really manual styling here. For now, I don't really feel like doing the responsive design. I just want to finish off most of this section. And if we take a look at the shop page, we are almost at finishing it off. I think what would be good right now is just to make sure that we fix up the margin here from the right, because I feel like it's a little bit too large and we're not really utilizing the full width of our screen here. So to do that, we'll jump into our page here for WooCommerce. And here we have our margin from the left with only 9 columns. We'll push that out to 12 columns, or even we'll remove the row altogether. And that'll make sure that we're utilizing all the space there properly. Let's save that, refresh, and that's way better now. Now if we resize, that's acceptable, that's unacceptable, and that's sort of acceptable. And what happens if we go into a mobile view? Yeah, that's absolutely terrible, but that's okay, we'll get there. So just about here is where I want them to drop into single columns. London says, I hope, here, are you self-employed by the way? Your code's so fast, not complicating, just inspired. Or not complaining, just inspired. Yeah, sort of. Like I've got a couple of startups, do a bit of freelance, do some web work as well. So sort of like freelancing, but running my own projects. Yeah, I think that's the way to go if you're doing development. Just contract out work and stuff like that. That's the best way. All right. So this responsive design is going to take a little bit of effort. We've got some of our initial styling here for WooCommerce for the list items. So we're going to have to start replacing some of this. I'll make our first media query here, and we'll do this at LG. And what we'll want to do is replace how these list items are collapsing. In this case, they collapse down to a 2-column design a little bit too late. If we take a look, they're collapsing at around 768 pixels. If we take a look at the design styling over here, this is what's happening. So we're applying this styling here. And I'm going to see if I can apply this a little bit earlier and see what that looks like. Okay, so I've applied it here, but now we've broken something and it's collapsing a little bit too early. With 8%, float, clear, margin. I don't know. Personally, I'd like to get rid of all these floats and just do my own styling. So maybe there's a way to do that. WooCommerce, remove product loop styling, margin, float, whatever. And see what it says here. Thanks, had a look. This is some of the stuff we're getting. Remove action before summary. No, that's not it. All right, this is some other styling. Essentially, all the styling is being applied because it's in this product section. I think we had a loop here before where we start the loop for WooCommerce. And this was in our templates, in our loops, and it was at loop start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this into our section here. So let's go to Fred Snow, WooCommerce, loops, open this up, go to the loop start, and here we've got products. If I remove maybe the column section, refresh that. Yep, that's okay. And then this product section, I'll remove that. Call this maybe Fred Snow WooCommerce products. Let's save that, refresh. And there, it's removed all our styling. So while this sucks, we can start fresh. So that'd be the way to go. What we'll do is we'll jump in here. And instead of products, we'll do Fred Snow WooCommerce products. Let's refresh. And there we go. We've got our Fred Snow WooCommerce products section here. We'll do display maybe of grid. Now I think we had a grid before somewhere. Here's one. I might copy over some of the styling we had for that and see how that works. Here we had 3 column designs with 250 pixels. In our case, we want to increase it maybe to say 400 pixels. There's something funky as well happening here on our product section where it's sort of, I don't know, it's sort of in the same position as everything else. It's sort of not. Is that a margin from the top that's causing that? What is that? Margin top 100 pixels? Yeah, it might be. So what we'll do is we'll just do margin top 100 pixels for the time being. Okay. So there we have that. This is way too large, so I'm putting that to 250 pixels again. Let's see, can you make a video or a live session regarding freelancing, like tips and stuff? I just started freelancing and I can't get projects or orders, quite difficult. That's a really good idea, and I'll throw that into my ideas over here. So let's put this in for tomorrow, 2020 04/27. Freelance tips and projects when starting. Great. So that's my blog video for tomorrow that we can check out. All right, so we've got this section here. Now for this, we're getting a margin from the left and the right. So this is what's killing our Fred Snow UL there. And I'm going to remove that. I'm going to do margin left 0 pixels, margin right 0 pixels. And we'll do padding left and padding right 0 pixels. Great. So that's looking a little bit better. We resize that. It should just be responsive now. Yep. All right. Great, that's looking much better now. So now our design is sort of adapting to what we want it to do. We've got an image in here, and sometimes it's not a full 100% width. This is just over here. WooCommerce image, I don't know. But in this case, it's in our list UI, so we'll do width 100%. Let's refresh and resize that. All right, seems to be working a little bit better. Just need to make sure this A tag doesn't have any decorations. Beautiful. All right, so we're almost there. Personally, I don't like the fact that this is a gigantic A tag, but That's okay, we can sort that out a little bit later. So we've got most of our section now done. And it's also responsive, so that way if I'm moving down the layers all the way to mobile, it sort of just works. The only other thing I might do here is when we get down to a slightly more mobile version, say media max with say SM, we'll remove some of the automatic height we're setting here, which is a min height, and we'll set this back to initial. Let's save that, and this essentially finishes off our store page. I hope that you guys liked this video. It was a quick way to get the store page up. In the next page, we'll take a look at having a look to make sure that the actual single product page works. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. If you have any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.